So Sneha, moving on from your experience at NID to your work at Unacademy, you were working as a creative lead at Unacademy. Can you tell us more about your work and what your job profile consisted of?
Sure. So I mean, I honestly, I found out about Unacademy through a tweet by Abhinav, and I didn't even know him at the time. I just somehow the Twitter algorithm showed me his tweet, and they were looking for a product illustrator at the time, and I joined the product team as an illustrator. So this is the kind of work that I started out doing, which is like illustration work. It was mainly, we started within the product. And so a lot of the illustrations were illustrations that could work out in the product. And then I realized that there's so much value in expanding this illustrative style to the rest of the experience outside of the product, whether that's marketing, whether that's, any branding work, other touch points and all of that. So this is one of the first projects that I worked on as a product illustrator at Unacademy, which was like the gamification of learning. And so we did these illustrated hats, and then I just kind of expanded this into a lot of other things. As a part of that, I realized that there's so much that can be done with respect to the Unacademy brand that hasn't been done yet. And a big part of that was the Unacademy brand book. So
Yeah.
there was like a logo, there was a logo in place and some like idea of what the brand colors were, but it was not really documented anywhere. And there were like different versions of the logo that different people were using. There was no like unified typography, nothing like that. So I thought it would be useful to kind of, there's no need for like a rebrand or like reinventing the brand, but rather just to kind of document everything and consolidate it in a way that everyone can access and use well. So I worked with the head of marketing at the time, Shweta, and she was working on all the qualitative, like the content related aspects, and I was working on all the design related aspects, and we worked on the brand book. So soon after the brand book, I pitched to Gaurav, the CEO, and to Abhinav that there's a lot of value in starting another team within the company, which would be like the creative team.
Right.
And that team's job would be to do anything and everything design outside of product. So whether that's to design any kind of experience, physical experience, marketing, illustration, branding, spaces, any creative design that it's outside of the app,
Right.
me and my team would help the company get that done. So that's what the job of the creative team was. And so we were a team when I left Unacademy, we were a team of 6, including myself. And so we did all the design work for the company outside, for the brand outside of the UI UX of the product.
Right.
So we would work very closely with marketing, very closely with product, to kind of make sure the experience is unified everywhere. So that's what we would do.
That's exciting because everyone, like the product aspect is there, but then there is so much more to product, like in design apart from product, like marketing,
Yeah.
branding, all of that. Speaking of branding, Unacademy had done their first 360 marketing campaign, in which the creative team, I'm pretty sure, had played a really important role. So can you tell us more about how that process
Yeah.
worked?
So from the beginning, from the get-go, it was kind of like, like I said, the head of marketing and I used to work very closely together. Our teams, our respective teams used to work in very close proximity. And a lot of our, our key outcomes were things that we had to collaborate together for, And one of those things was that, we started to explore the idea of starting to do a marketing campaign, including like TVCs, which Unacademy had never done before. And it's a big, like in India, at least TVCs are like a big status symbol apart from what it symbolizes. When you're able to do a TVC as a brand, it means that you've reached a certain maturity as a company and as a brand. So, so there was a lot of, so we had to think about how to do this. We researched a lot of creative agencies, and it was like a 50-50 kind of collaborative process, and a lot of roles kind of blurred in that sense. And we researched a lot of agencies, and then narrowed that down to the best few that could pitch to us. Then we had to kind of draw up a creative brief, which explains like the what, why, how, who, where of the campaign, of the company, of what we're trying to achieve, who is it for, who are these people, all of that stuff. And that's a very like defining that becomes a really important part of the process, because if the brief is uh, misleading for whatever reason, then the entire campaign doesn't succeed
Yeah.
or doesn't give you the results that you expect. Yeah, so then after that we have to evaluate the agency pitches, and then we were involved in selecting them, and then we work closely with them to kind of all the design aspects that you see as part of the campaign. Maybe I can show you some. Hold on. Yeah. So obviously the films and the 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 writing for the films, the direction, and all of that was done with the production house as well as the creative agency. But let's say a simple thing, for example, in this film, should I play it?
First,
Yeah, okay, I could, yeah, yeah, okay. Oops, yeah. So I'm going to mute it. But yeah, so for example, this screen, all of the stuff that's happening in this screen, we recreated this snapshot of what a class could be like, the chat interface, what all of these things we kind of just drew out to make it look like was annotated on the class. Then all of these. So we had to kind of firstly decide what are the three call outs that we want to have at the end of the ads, because obviously PVCs run, there's a lot of recall is the biggest challenge with PVCs, and you want to make your message like super clear and crisp. So if we had to decide that there were three things that we call out from our ads, what would those things be, and how would we visualize that, right? Because one is to obviously write it down, and the other is to put that in illustration, and there's a certain power that comes with visuals. So we also decided to simplify that as much as possible. Like usually our illustration palette is a pretty full palette, but
yeah,
for this we kept it as much as possible blue and green focused, so there's a higher recall for the brand colors. And then finally obviously the logo lockup. So the after this campaign, we kind of Let's Crack It became like the tagline, the official tagline for Unacademy. So the lockup, the balance of this particular logo, how it appears everywhere, all of that was decided, by our team. So yeah, again, like I said, the roles are kind of very collaborative, and no like set like this is your role, that is your role. I guess that happens in startups as well. So yeah, so again, so we work very closely with the creative agencies and the other teams in the company to kind of make this happen. Yeah.